welcome to my YouTube channel. As you can tell by the intro and the title, this is my diagnosis story of being a type 1 diabetic. So I just want to start off and say my name is Kayla. I am 20 years old and I am a type 1 diabetic. I have been diagnosed for going on about 4 years. I was diagnosed July 5th, 2017. I was 16 years old. So yeah, my diversity is coming up. Excuse the shaking camera. So let's kind of get into the story about it. Okay, so here is my story. July 5th, I was getting ready to go to a basketball tournament in Kentucky because I did play AAU basketball at the very time. And I started to get sick. It wasn't usually like your normal cold or your normal flu sickness. It was very different. But to me, as a 16-year-old, I didn't really think much about it at the time because to me, I had no knowledge about type 1 diabetes, nor did I know anybody in my family that had type 1 diabetes or diabetes in general, type 1 nor type 2. So I kind of just brushed it off a little bit. Probably wasn't the best idea, but thankfully my aunt was paying attention at the time of all of the things that were going down. So my symptoms were extreme thirst. I could literally drink about 1,500 bottles a freaking day and still be thirsty. I would tell her, she'd be asking me like, hey Kayla, didn't you just drink some water like maybe 5 minutes ago? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I drink all of this water and I'm still very extremely thirsty. So I didn't really think much about it, honestly. I just thought I was just dehydrated, honestly. But I guess my aunt kind of just took that into consideration. And along with the extreme thirst came extreme urination, meaning I would go to the bathroom every 5 to 10 minutes during the day. In the middle of the night, it didn't really matter. There wasn't a specific time limit. I would just continuously go. And my aunt, I guess, would hear me from her bedroom going to the bathroom. And to me, like I said, I didn't really think much about it. I just thought the main reason I was going to urinate so much was because I was drinking so much water. So that's why I kind of put like the cause and effect. Like, I'm going to the bathroom so much, but I mean, again, I'm drinking so much water. So again, as a 16-year-old, I'm not really thinking that much about it. Like, oh, I have an autoimmune disease that is really just in me and I just don't know about. No, I didn't think about it. So I didn't really think too much about it. Didn't really have that thought on my head as a 16-year-old. So again, I kind of let that pass. July 5th came and it was 8 a.m. My aunt came and woke me up and she was like, go check your weight. I'm already confused of like, what the heck, what's going on? Because it's 8 a.m. I'm half sleeping. You just come and wake me up and just tell me to go check my weight. And I kind of asked, I was like, can this wait? Like, it's 8 a.m. Like, it's 8 a.m. And she was like, no, get up now, with like a sense of urgency. So now I'm just kind of like, okay. So clearly she's really serious about this and just very go get him at that point. So at the time, from what I knew, I was weighing 180. So as I went to go check my blood sugar, she was on the phone with somebody. I don't know who it was, but I think it was my grandparents who were her parents. I don't really know, but that's who I think it was. And then the scale showed 160. So in my head, I was like, oh, I lost weight. Because at the time I was in athletics because I was actually diagnosed this summer before my junior year of high school. So in my head, I was like, oh, well, I'm an athlete. I'm playing sports, I'm working out, I'm losing weight. And I'm drinking all this water. So yeah. And she's on the phone. She was like, okay, it says 160. She's like, Kayla, go get your shoes on and get in the car. And I'm like, what the frick is going on? And she's not telling me anything. Like, she's just kind of like still talking on the phone, just kind of like, hurry up, get your shoes on, like, get your shoes on now, really urgent, really fast forward, fully paced, all of that stuff. So she's just kind of like, get in the car. So we get in the car and we drive down to our grandparents' house. Kid you not, their house is literally right in front of ours. This is our house, and then this is their house. It's a 2-minute walk, if even that, maybe like a minute, 30-second walk. But we go in the house, and they're up, and they're just kind of like, okay, so what happened? I'm just like, what the heck? nobody's telling me anything, and nobody's relaying any messages onto me. They're just kind of like, do this, do that. Okay, what happened? And I'm just kind of here. It's like 8:30 now in the morning, and I'm just kind of here as a 16-year-old freaking the hell out because nobody's telling me what's going on, and I'm concerned and I'm worried because clearly it has something to do with me, and I'm over here thinking like, am I dying? Am I gonna die? Yeah, all of the thoughts were going through my head. So my aunt was like, Kayla, prick your finger, and I was like, what? I actually said what? Not because I literally said what. It's like, prick your finger, and I was like, I was scared because now you're giving me a needle. The meter my grandpa had, because it turns out my grandpa was a type 2 diabetic. So she's like, prick your finger. I was super scared. I'm like, I don't want to do this. So they pricked my finger and it hurt very badly. Didn't cry, but I said, ow. Put the blood on a test strip and 3 numbers came up. The numbers were really high, and it was like 5 something. I think it was like 565 at the time. And then yeah, it was really high. Somebody was like, get in the car, we're going to urgent care. Still, nobody's telling me what's going on. Nobody's relaying any messages to me. Nobody's telling me this is what's happening with you, this is what we need to do. No. So we go to urgent care, and they've known me since I was like 7 maybe. I don't really know. It's been a long time since they know me. Okay, so I go in there and my aunt tells them what's going on, and they put me in a room. Excuse me. They said, go pee in this cup. So I get the cup and go pee, and I bring it back. Not even 5 minutes later, the doctor comes back and says, before we even got to put your pee, like fully scan it, a shit ton of sugar came up in your urine. And in my head, I'm just like, what the fuck does this mean? Like, what does this mean? So my aunt was like, okay, so this is what's been happening with her, X, Y, and Z, and now sugar. I was like, I had a feeling. My aunt was kind of like, I had a feeling of what it was, but I didn't want to be too sure. So again, still, nobody's telling me what's going on, so I'm still freaking the hell out. And they said, okay, here's Children's Hospital of Atlanta. Here's their number. We're going to call them and tell them that you're coming in X, Y, and Z. And when you get there, tell them your name, and they'll get you situated and everything else. I'm like, why the hell are we going to a hospital? Because again, I'm not being told anything that's going on. So now I'm just freaking the hell out. So I get in the car. We drive to the hospital, and we just, like we said, we told them my name. We told them everything that's going on. They put me in a room, and they started asking my aunt questions. Kind of asking me questions too, but then again, I was really lost and confused, so I didn't really know how to answer these questions. They put an IV on me, a little heart monitor, pretty much everything. They was like, okay, you're gonna stay down here until we can get an actual room for you to get you admitted. And I was like, hold on. I'm getting admitted into a hospital, and I still don't know what's going on. Whatever. They pricked my finger again, and they was like, okay, so her blood sugar is still very high, but now this time it didn't even show numbers. It said HI, meaning it's so high you can't even see it on the meter. And when they went to take it with like an actual like hospital thing that will actually show you the numbers no matter how high it is, the motherfucker said 700, and I was like, what the fuck does all of this mean? I don't know. Nobody's telling me anything. I'm a confused 16-year-old girl. Maybe like 2-3 hours go by, and I fell asleep at that point. I was super tired. I'd been woken up out of my sleep. I wasn't allowed to eat. I wasn't really allowed to drink anything. I wasn't really allowed to do anything but sit there in confusion and hunger and thirst. Pretty much. So they came back, maybe like I said, 2-3 hours later, and like, okay, we got you a room. So like I said, rolled me up to my room, X, Y, and Z. And there's like, okay, now we have to take some blood. Not like pricking my finger, actually putting a vein in my arm and taking blood. So now I'm freaking out a little bit more. So like, okay, I've been woken out of my sleep, have to get my weight checked, Got my finger pricked to show this gigantic high-ass number. Went to urgent care. Got told I had sugar in my EP. Got told to go to this hospital. Hospital puts me in a room for like 2 or 3 hours to get me admitted. I finally get admitted. They check my finger again, and the number says it's too high. Then when they tell me it was around the 700s, and now I'm being a freaking test subject kind of thing, and I'm getting my blood taken. I still don't know what none of this means. Like I said, excuse me. They, like I said, take my blood. Fall back asleep. They said they were gonna come back when they got the test results. Whatever the hell was wrong with you, girl. Thought I had cancer. Not gonna lie. Thankfully, I didn't. But like I said, I fell asleep, and the doctors came back. I didn't know because I was asleep, so my aunt woke me up. She was like, Kayla, hey, like, the doctor's back, X, Y, and Z. And it was not 1. It was not 2. It was not 3. It was 4. It was 4 doctors. It was a really tall one, and she was black. And the other 3 were white. So, I'm so sorry, excuse me. So, like I said, I came in the room, and they were like, okay, we have the test results. And they just kind of looked at me and my aunt. And you know how kind of like when a doctor has to tell a patient some really bad news, but they don't know how to tell them, not because of how bad it is, maybe because of their ages, or just because it's like, this is a kid. How do we tell this kid that their life is forever changed and it will never be normal ever again? That's the kind of look they gave. So now I was really worried. So he looked at me, and the doctor looked at me. She didn't really say much at first. And she was just like, okay, so we got your test results. I'm still looking at it, like, what does this mean? X, Y, and Z. And she's like, Kayla, I'm so sorry. It was like, everything your aunt described was right. And I was like, what the fuck does this shit mean? She looked at me, and she said, Kayla, you have type 1 diabetes. To my knowledge and my experience, I didn't know what none of that mean because never, like I said, I've never had anybody in my family or my life have diabetes, from my knowledge at least. And I was just kind of like, how? Because I had a really great diet, and I was very healthy. My mother, my biological mother, has it. She has type 2. So like I said, autoimmune. So her type 2 transferred to me and gave me type 1. Fucking sucked. Was not having it. So yeah, I had to stay in the hospital for about 3 days, and that came with a lot of diabetes education. I had to prime up my insulin pen, where I could shoot myself at, how many years I had to take, how I had to stay vigilant of my blood sugars and stuff like that. And yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. It was very hard to catch up to and just like kind of start, because I was still in high school and I was only 16. So yeah, I wasn't gonna be like, holy fuck, okay, I got type 1 diabetes, bam, let's get this motherfucker on and popping. No, I was very anxious, very scared, very worried, very hesitant about everything that was going on with me. But the sad truth is that I could not fix it nor control it, because, well, I can control it. I couldn't cure it. Type 1 diabetes has no cure. Type 2 can be reversed with better diet, better exercises. And it's not the same with type 1. Type 1 has no cure. Like, if I wanted to go on a diet, that would strictly be my decision. I mean, it wouldn't really reverse it because there's no way to reverse type 1. There's no cure for type 1. So I would always tell myself and my friends, I'm like, hey guys, my type 1 diabetes, either it kills me or I just die with it. Like, either I die or it kills me. Like, if I just live a long life and die of natural causes, or my type 1 diabetes kills me. Like, sad to say, but true. And the crazy thing is you have to keep it managed. If it goes too high, you can go into DKA, which is Diabetes ketoacidosis means you have so much sugar in your urine. Your blood is like thick and it feels like sandpapers in your skin, and it makes you super nauseous and makes you want to throw up and puke at the same time. I know because I've been in DKA twice. The second time actually put me in the ICU, but I mean, I'm good now. And like I said, you can go into DKA if you're too high, you can go into a seizure, you can go into a diabetic coma, or you can die. And if it gets too low, meaning if it goes below 70, because an average diabetic's range for blood sugars are 70 to 150, but again, it's different for everybody. Mine is 70 and 150, between 70 to 150. So if it goes below 70, like I said, I can go into a coma, I can have a seizure, or I can die. So freaking fun. Just knowing like you have to keep it managed, because literally I could walk out, I could be perfectly fine as I am right now, and I could walk out my house, drop dead any second. That's why I had to wear this. This is my type 1 diabetes medical bracelet that I have to wear every single day, can never take it off. Have to sleep with it, have to eat with it, have to shower with it. I can never, ever take this off. And I actually want to get a type 1 diabetes tattoo. But yeah, but like I can, until then I can never take this off. But yeah, it was very hard the few first months of it. It's not hard now, it's more controlled. But at first I was kind of like, kill me now, because I cannot do this every day for the rest of my life. And look at me, almost 4 years in. Yay. Yeah, but I kind of have learned to manage it. This is my insulin pump. This entire line goes down to my stomach. This is what gives me my insulin. And I'm wearing this thing called a Dexcom. It is a continuous glucose monitor, a CGM, and it sends my blood sugars to my phone and also my insulin pump every 5 minutes, and it also sends it to my parents' phones and alert them if my blood sugar is either too high or too low. It'll alert me if I'm too high or too low. It'll alert my pump if I'm too high or too low. And that's really great because it also gives type 1 diabetics just more coverage and just more ways to control it while they find a cure for it. And yeah, that is pretty much my entire story as type 1 diabetic. It's crazy. It was a lot. But again, if I hadn't found out what I found out, I'd probably not even be here telling you guys the story today. I'd probably be dead, to be honest. I probably would not have survived. I'd probably be just like dead, gone, not alive anymore type stuff. But type 1 diabetes has taught me a lot. Honestly, it just showed me that don't take your life for granted, and just shit can happen. Like, really bad things can happen to really amazing people. Do I regret getting type 1 diabetes? No. Do I wish I did it? Every day I do. There is everyday thought that I wish I would never have been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. I wish type 1 diabetes was never even a thing, because it's hard, and I still do have mental breakdowns, crying, because I just kind of like, the realization sets in that I'm not a normal child. I have to live off of this one thing, and I can only go 3 to 4 days without insulin or I will die. So knowing that this one little liquid literally holds my entire life is crazy. But then again, I mean, that's what I have to live. And yeah, before I end this video, happy Pride Month. Yes, happy Pride Month to all of my LGBTQ lovelies. So as you can see my little pride flag in my mirror right here. Excuse me, I keep yawning. But yes, that is my type 1 diabetes diagnosis story. And this is my new channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure, you know, you do all that goody stuff. Okay. And my next video will be uploaded next Friday. I will post more information about that on my Instagram, on my social medias will be in the video. Like I said, make sure you like, subscribe, make sure you follow on my socials. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys next week.